We are delighted we've got you on, Annette. Now, if you're one of Annette's many, 500,000 actually followers on social media between Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and whatever else, this is the face, real person behind Little Penny Thoughts. It's Annette Kelly. Hi, Annette.
Hello, Kate. Hello, Ciara. How are you doing, girls?
Annette, I'm kind of a bit celebrity struck, kind of, wow, 500,000 followers. That is some achievement.
Well, come here. I know each of them by name, and but you know what? It's one of them things that kind of spiraled from 2015, and it has never been and never will be about followers for me, but it's all about the community and the platform. And I'm so grateful that, you know, my messages each day are shared far and wide across the world.
Well, explain what Little Penny Thoughts is, if there's possibly even one person who's watching who isn't one of your followers. Explain what it is.
Yes, of course. So basically it's an online platform through Facebook and on Instagram, where I share messages of encouragement, empowerment and hope each day. I try and lay off the cheese when it comes to the quotes. I try to have words with meaning behind them. I'm a massive believer in the power of words. Words can hurt or words can heal, and that's the words you can say to yourself or the words that you can read. And I'm all about creating a safe space online where people can, you know, go to and get something from.
Amazing.
And it's not just the online platform as well, because I've got her diary. So you have a diary and a flip calendar as well, don't you?
A diary and a flip calendar as well. So we created them in 2018, and we've just gone from strength to strength in terms of product production, and we've got volume 1, volume 2 and our wee yearly diaries. It's a sister's venture. Me and my sister, she is the one that really puts my vision into reality. She's the creative graphic designer, and only for her I wouldn't be able to do what I do.
That's amazing.
But she's the best. You're the one that does all the talking, aren't you?
Well, I love the chats. Like, I love grabbing a cup of tea and coming on to my stories and having the chats with, you know, the online community. I used to kind of be a wee bit paranoid about Little Penny Thoughts. I didn't really know what it was. I was afraid of judgment, but I've really, over this past few years, pushed past judgment and think, you know what, this is something that makes me tick. It comes from a really good place. And I really enjoy my work.
So your intention, what was your intention? Just to help people get through every day? Was it, you know, can you remember? I
can remember saying to my sister I wanted to create a positivity page online. Now, I don't call it a positivity page now because I don't get wrapped up in the word positivity, because it's very hard to be positive day in, day out, but I do know the value of trying to see the positive. However, in 2015, I would have been sharing a lot of quotes on my personal page, and I may have had a very honest friend ringing me up and like, Annette, are you all right? Yeah. And I was like, I'm grand. I just like sharing these words. And then I thought, you know what, maybe I'll create a space online to share these words. Now, they weren't my words. I didn't have the confidence back then to write my own quotes, but I was sharing everyone from Bob Marley to Oprah to Gandhi to Pope John Paul, you name it. There's a real dolly mixture. And I was sharing their quotes daily. And it just started gaining traction and following from people that resonated with the words. My intention was that people would come to the page and find a quote when they need it the most, you know, and that's what I was finding. And people were tagging their friends saying, you might need this, Sue, or you might need this, Patty, or whoever. Do you know what I mean? And that's where the sense of I don't know, that maybe I was playing my part in helping people in a very small way through the medium of quotes.
Wow. Do you really help? What's yours? You shared one the other day.
I shared one on the Life Lounge the other day. I love be a warrior, not a worrier.
Oh, love it.
Because
it's so easy to be a warrior.
Yeah, it just makes you flip your direction of your thoughts to not what I am going to be okay.
That's it, or even turn your wounds into wisdom.
Yes.
We all
turn your mess into your message.
Make your mess your message. So when you share the crap that has happened, help someone when you're brave enough to kind of say. But my favorite one, minute that I actually have on my phone screen is, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. That's from Invictus. And it's like, it's not really about what happens, it's how you respond to it, which is resilience, really. That's, and just given the year and a bit that we've all had.
Absolutely. And I do think there's a lot of, you have to do a lot of inward work within yourself, and those words that you're reading, you can read a quote, but then you can sometimes act upon it as well. And that's all about, whether it resonates with you or not. But quotes, really do speak to me, and most of them, apart from the cheesy ones. There's a lot of cheesy ones.
Like, give us a cheesy example.
Just my least favourite quote is...
That's a good one. What's your favourite quote?
I don't really enjoy, "You've got this." You've got what? I don't like that quote. You've got what? That could be, you could have anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you've got a disease. You've got
But no, I just think, but I know it's catchy and it's whatever, but, or even quotes such as, "Be positive" or "Stay positive." You can't just be or stay. You have to act upon it, and there's no magic wand. But the likes of people that want, as I said before, want to do the wee bit of inward work on themselves. It can stand the test of time over the years, especially if you are struggling at the minute. Because when I started Little Penny Thoughts, it was from a place of struggle.
Okay.
Even I didn't admit it at the time. I thought I was okay, but deep down I wasn't. I was always searching, or very unhappy with myself, maybe with my appearance, with my job, with my life. But I was searching externally for things, and I wasn't looking within and thinking, appreciating everything I was. I was constantly focused on everything that I don't have. And if we focus on the lack of in your life, you'll never have enough. But now I feel I'm in a headspace where I do have enough. I have my health, I have my friends, I have my family. I'm fortunate to be working in a field that I'm very passionate about, but it wasn't always like this. So if anyone out there is going through, can I say shit show?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. You just said class.
A storm at the minute. It might be rocky and rough now, but there can be smoother shores ahead if you persevere and just, ride the waves. I love that quote too, about surfing. You can't always ride the waves, but you can learn how to surf.
Yeah.
So I'm just surfing, and I'm a beginner every morning. Every morning I wake up and I just try and do my best. I try and see the good. I try to see the good within myself, and the kinder I am to myself, the kinder I am to others, and the more I find life enjoyable and bearable. And life is to be enjoyed, even though it's hard.
You're talking my language. Totally talking my language. I think, what you're saying is, and we talk a lot in interviews about gratitude and stuff. And I think a lot of your quotes, kind of like just what you say is, be grateful for what you have, raise you onto a higher vibration instead of going from the place of lack.
Yes. If you focus on the negatives or what you don't have, you'll, as I said before, you just will feel that you have enough or accomplished. And that is the mindset I used to live in. I always wanted more, and I wanted to be liked by all. I wanted to, when I was teaching, I wanted to be a perfectionist. I was just extremely hard on myself. But the more easier I am myself, the easier I find life to be.
Do you find you still give yourself a hard time over things?
Absolutely, definitely. I have an inner critic. Her name's Geraldine, and she...
Mine's is Morgana.
Oh, Morgana and Geraldine would get on very well. Do you have an inner critic, Kate?
Oh gosh, yes. And
What's her name?
Oh, she hasn't got a name.
We'll need to name her.
Right. If a name comes, you tell me. But no, Geraldine's an old bitch. You know, basically, she takes up rent in my head. She takes up space in my head. She doesn't pay any rent.
Yes.
No value to my life. Tells me everything that's wrong with me. She likes to remind me of my mistakes, and I just think, do you know what? Not today, Geraldine. And I've evicted her. You know, get defense.
Well, I have I'll give you a laugh. One of my really, really good friends is a social worker, and she said to me, Ciara, you don't need to be in a relationship to suffer from domestic abuse. You abuse yourself. Mm-hmm. And it was like,
oh,
but here's the next layer. Ciara gives herself a hard time about giving herself a hard time.
So that is head around that one. So it's not giving myself a hard time, and then so I tried to process that, and I'm like, well, now you're doing it again. You're giving yourself a hard time.
So you feel guilty about giving yourself a hard time. So you're the layers of guilt.
So I'm trying not to give myself a hard time, and then I'm going, say, there you go again, Ciara, you're giving yourself a hard time again. Look what you do. So I'm giving myself a hard time about giving myself a hard time. It's like the mirror thing.
Can't win.
Shut up.
Now more than ever, we have to cut ourselves some slack. Now, it's one of them things. You can make a heaven or hell out of your head, and it's not your fault. It's not, it's just sometimes the way that we are made up. Obviously life experiences and trauma and past things, but I think that everyone is capable of trying to be that wee bit kinder to themselves, and that's a starting point.
Practice.
If you're willing to catch those negative thoughts or the hatefulness and the negativity that you're giving to yourself, then you're on your way to trying to think, you know what, I have to be kinder to myself here. I'm stuck with myself, so you might as well be a wee bit more dead on.
Be sorry for yourself. Just be dead on with yourself.
Just be dead on. Just don't be a dweeb. Don't be a dweeb to yourself. Don't be a dweeb to others. Even though it's easier said than done, but and not to sound like a total cheesehead, but you have to kind of become your own wee best friend if you want to live a happy life, because you are with yourself. As soon as you wake up in the morning, you're with yourself, and then you go to bed at night, you're with yourself. So see all them moments in between, you're with yourself a lot too, so you might as well just enjoy your company. So you know what I mean.
I tell you, just have you ever read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle?
Yes, love it. Powerful.
Ooh.
He's some boy.
He talks about, having the conversation with Geraldine, like with Geraldine, or Ciara having a conversation with Morgana, and how do they make friends with each other? Fabulous. But you just mentioned something there about getting up in the morning. So just before we come on, we'd mentioned about social media and the pros and cons of social media, and you as a social media guru superstar. But you also said something really poignant to me before we started recording.
Yeah, so basically social media to me is a double-edged sword. I am so grateful for it. It's a great platform where I've built little penny thoughts from. However, there's a downside to that too, by the amount of time I spend on social media. So this month I've been really focusing on, a goal for my month was to lower my screen time, because I said to Ciara and Kate, it was disgusting, my screen time. If I count up all the hours I'm on my phone, I was like, what is going on here? So
I thought, junk food, isn't it, for the brain?
That's it. It's just addictive. Yeah. So I thought, how can I lower my screen time? And it all starts from stopping the scroll-a-thon, as I call it. The scroll-a-thon with your thumb. So in the morning I would wake up and I would reach for my phone. This was my routine. and I could be scrolling for about 45 minutes before my feet hit the floor, right? Social media, not even checking emails. But what I was realizing, I was letting other people's lives come into my life in the morning before my feet hit the floor. So all different people's energies, what they were having for breakfast, their nice coffees, maybe their avocado and smashed toast or whatever they're having, or maybe they're going for their walks or going for their runs and things like that. So I automatically was thinking, you know, living through other people's lives, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
Because
just crucifying yourself that you're not eating the avocado on toast and you're not out running, you're in bed and you have a bowl of Frosties.
Yeah.
So
yes.
then you start the day thinking like a failure because you're comparing yourself.
Well, that's it. And I was just thinking, you know, be very aware of the energies you're letting into your to your world, especially first thing in the morning. You know, and these could be strangers that you know you don't really know, but people that you follow. So be very aware of who you follow too, and you know, follow people that uplift you, inspire you, or maybe motivate you. But you know, I was finding myself looking into other people's lives, and then I thought, you know what, this it has to stop, because I know that comparison is a thief of joy. And I don't really compare my life to other people's lives, but it was just a force of habit.
Yeah. You don't
So
even
now
realize it, and you are.
Yeah.
you're doing it and you realize, why am I in bad form?
Yes.
And
Yes.
probably because of your phone and what you're consuming.
Yeah. Because you don't even necessarily have to have the conscious thought, that person is slimmer than me, or that person has a better car than me, or whatever. But your brain has it in there somewhere. And then you get that feeling of like, I'm doing this stomach dread, where you're like, why do I feel bad?
Yeah, that's it. Or you just kind of it drains your energy. So now I'm very firm with myself. I don't look at my phone until, you know, I'm up and at it. And I'm still not there yet, where I don't, you know, I still check my phone in the mornings, but I'm not lying in bed, you know, scrolling. No matter what, like I'd be an early riser, but even because I'm an early riser, I was still scrolling in the morning. It doesn't matter what time, but I get up and try and pave my way and plan my day out before I look at anyone else's day.
Could you leave the phone outside the bedroom?
I've tried. It's just, you know, I've tried, but I haven't really tried hard enough.
I couldn't. And I'll tell myself it's my alarm, or I'm going to listen to YouTube, because I listen to YouTube as I fall asleep. Yes. I have to have something like, whether it's a meditation, I can't fall asleep in silence. Just the way I am. I always have to have either something I've already seen on TV, like a show I've already seen, so my brain's not being paying attention, familiar, or I'll listen to a meditation or something like that, and I'll be out like that. But if I don't have that, it'll take ages. But so I'll tell myself that. But I could find some other way to do that without the phone. But I like to wait.
That's it. You know, I think I'd be a wee bit of a night owl. I'm trying to smooth that out as well. You know, I'm just making wee lifestyle changes at the minute, only because I know it'll be better for my mental health and my productivity. And sometimes it's the smallest thing of getting your sleep right and less screen time. And over this past month, I've found myself having more energy because my screen time is lower. And my sleep is improving.
Brilliant. Mm-hmm. It's even, you know, even if you are, try and make sure that, as you say, who you're following or what it is you're spending your screen time doing. Like I was watching at 6 o'clock this morning, I woke up and was watching Mind Valley. Have you heard of that? Fabulous.
No.
It's just kind of like interviews with people. Like the one this morning was a guy who's like a philosopher, like a modern day philosopher. Like Bill Clinton was quoted saying that he is the Einstein of philosophy in this day and age. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to sit and go through shit, but I'll watch something that's adding value, like a healthy diet of screen time.
Yeah. Totally. Like my feed at the minute is pure self-development.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. And sometimes you get too much of a good thing, so it's nice to switch to a different field as well. What else I enjoy? But I enjoy makeup tutorials. I enjoy skincare regimes. I like a dolly mixture. But
You know what's strange for me, you're saying that? I don't watch makeup tutorials.
No, I like watching yours.
I know. Well, you said that. But it's like when it's your thing, I don't need to watch.
Feels like work.
It feels a bit, yeah, I'm like.
Yeah. That's it. Well, this is it. And it's something that, it's like courses for courses. And that's one thing I said about wanting people to like you. A favorite quote of mine is, "You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea." And that's okay. Not everyone likes tea. And if people want to come to my page and, vibe with me or know what I'm about, happy days. But if they think, no, little penny thoughts or that girl's not for me, that's okay also. And I've come to a realization that that's life. And the way people can perceive you, whether you're online or offline in the real world, you can't really do anything about that. You can just try and be your authentic self and do your best, and you'll attract the right people that's maybe meant to be in your life.
I always, whenever I've taught makeup for years, and I'll have groups of girls and guys, but obviously predominantly girls. And, obviously when they're starting off doing makeup, they're very, very nervous, right? Because they're like, what if somebody doesn't like it? And I say, somebody isn't going to like it. There's going to be people who don't like what you do, and I'll go to them, hands up, who doesn't like any of Beyonce's music? And there'll always be one, maybe two, out of 12. And I go, do you think Beyonce gives a shit that you don't like her music? No. So just be Beyonce. Because you can't even be Beyonce and someone's not going to like you.
Just be more babe.
I'm Beyonce always. There's a quote, was one of Stephen Clement's favourites. Lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep.
Oh, that's powerful. That is so
Really,
powerful. But
I love that one.
I love that one. I do. I really do. And I think it's important that if you become so consumed with worrying about what other people think, life's too short for that. And at the end of the day, it's not anyone else's job to like you. It's your job to like you. And if you don't like yourself, then you really are shooting yourself in the foot. I'm not even talking about, people talk about self-love, and that kind of turns me a wee bit. Like self-love. I just can't, I'm just not fit for it yet. I like myself. I don't, love myself as of yet, but I do. I like myself. I think I'm dead on. However, I think we have grew up in a society where, if anyone put their head above the water or stood out a wee bit, it was like, oh, she's a love herself.
Our chocolate.
That's it, and things like that. And that's maybe our culture and a way of going on, but and self-love or self-like isn't looking in the mirror and thinking, God, I'm class. Sometimes it's just that quiet intuition within yourself that, you know what, I'm doing my best, I know what I'm about, and this is it, take me as I am. And as soon as I seem to come into myself over this past year or two, I've been able to breathe easier, and I'm not as anxious. But it takes time not to care about what others think, because it's a big blockage of why people don't pursue certain careers or change careers or
why you put penny thoughts under an anonymous name, because you feared being put out for something.
Totally. Now, don't call me Penny or there'd be a row. Sometimes I get an email saying, "Hey Penny," and I'm like, no. It came from the expression, "Penny for your thoughts."
For your thoughts, yeah, I know that.
So.
What about the quote? Other people's opinions is none of your business. Other people's opinions of you is none of your business. That's a hard one to get your head around.
All about it. And don't take criticism from someone that you would never go and get advice from.
Yeah. So
Yes.
So yeah, so other people's opinions of you is none of your business.
Yeah, but it is true. And once again, it's easier said than done. But I do think that, the less attention you pay to other people's perceptions of you, the happier you'll be. But everyone's going to have opinion. We all have opinions on others. It's human. It's how we operate.
But sometimes as well, you don't really understand why they don't like you. It could just be you remind them of someone else who was terrible to them, or they're having a bad day. Now, I would get a lot whenever I'm on air, on the radio. People sometimes text in really horrible things.
Really?
Really horrible things. Yeah, like just, it could be anything. Like, I'm never listening to you again because you didn't play that song I wanted.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't make the decisions.
Okay.
Or sometimes, it'll happen a lot around Christmas and New Year. People are having a hard time. People are sad about something and they hear you on the radio and for some reason they think, and they take it out on you. So I just blank it out.
Just a trolling.
Yeah. It's people lashing out who don't feel happy. And so
does it not affect you anymore?
It depends what it is they're saying. It depends on the nature of what it is. But if it's something like that, like you didn't play my song, then I'm like, tell my boss.
Yeah.
Nothing.
You can't squeeze it all in.
Mm-hmm. But there's but sometimes they'll just be saying nasty things, and it just kind of makes you go, oh, and then you go, no.
Yeah.
This is just
I don't
words on a screen. This isn't somebody I know. This is,
What I don't like is maybe I put up a question box, so obviously I'm asking for questions, to generate discussion, and people maybe point out things about my appearance. And it could be the smallest thing about maybe my eyebrows, or it could be about weight loss or weight gain or something like that. And it's only their opinion or their view. And sometimes you have to work and think, no, do you know what? Don't it's a throwaway comment. Don't take offense to it.
And have you learned to?
Oh, totally. I can.
Bother you?
Yeah, I thick skin because look, I don't really put up many controversial quotes, but obviously a lot of people won't agree with the words that are written.
Mm-hmm.
So say if it was something by Bob Marley, and I put up about Bob Marley and wrote, whatever Bob Marley says, and then I might get a message saying this is a load of what, blah blah blah, and I'd be like, here, don't take it out on me, take it out with Bob. But say if it's my say if it's my quote, and they're saying, well, I don't agree with this, it's a load of what. Sometimes they be quite hateful in their wording, and what would you know, blah blah blah, and then maybe call you a name, which can happen because obviously my words have triggered that person because they're going through something in their life and that the quote was not for them. I can respond as kindly as possible and say that everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and that's it. And I think you have to be professional as possible, but take no nonsense either.
Like, I just don't know what has happened, or is it an age thing? Is it the younger ones have grew up in this kind of, I just wouldn't type anything that I wouldn't say to someone. So I just, for the life of me, I don't understand. And I'm a sharp person. Like, I don't, I'm not a flipping, what's the word? Wilton.
You're not a snowflake.
I'm not a snowflake. But I just am like, I don't understand why people have this need. Just fucking ignore the quote then if you don't like it.
Yes, but
I don't get it. I'll tell you what happened.
That's so true.
X Factor and programs like that, where we hold people up for ridicule. No, but people are held up for ridicule. You think of the start of those shows. They wheel out people for you to laugh at and to make fun of. And so now everybody feels like I have an opinion, I have a voice. And I'm allowed to judge somebody and ridicule them because they are not fitting whatever. And that to me is so dangerous because we now devalue each other and each other's feelings.
Yeah.
But see, X Factor wouldn't be allowed to happen in this day and age. because they wouldn't be allowed to poke fun at vulnerable people.
Yeah.
You know, everything
The
very much,
change that's happened there is unbelievable.
you know,
Like,
really.
I watched this thing on America's Next Top Model, and
That's
how they spoke to them girls and what they expected of them girls. It's like, and it's only 15 years ago. And it's like, you know, the famous one of Tara screaming and bawling and shouting at that girl.
Yes,
That's
Like,
right.
that just wouldn't happen.
No, it wouldn't, because, you know, thankfully there's more of an awareness around mental health, and the stigma is definitely still there.
But
however, it's improving.
Do you know what I have found? And this is something, especially when Facebook, social media came around, and being a business owner, or even like Google reviews and shit, right? People said, I'm going to say, like, I had a bit of an argument with a client or a customer, which obviously doesn't happen very often, because they're a client and they're a customer, but the client and the customer is not always right. And sometimes people are people, so I can be an asshole sometimes, but customers who are people can be an asshole sometimes. But then what I found that I struggle with, and we're going way off in tangents here, but we're talking social media, but it's like people would have went on and slated my business, and I had no voice. So it was like, they're like, I've the voice, you're providing this service, so that means that I'm going to ridicule you and run your business down. And what do I say back? Well, actually, you were an asshole, and that's why that happened. You can't argue, you have to just take it. And
then they get all their friends on board. And
it's honest. And, you know, like, thank God there is stuff now about defamation of business. But I remember, like, in the early days, if you had a disagreement with someone or whatever, it was like, straight on, I put you all over Facebook. I'm going to tell everybody on Facebook how bad a businesswoman you are, how shit a person you are. And you were, you know, what can you do? You can't go on and go, well, I think you were an asshole, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, it's probably the same in teaching. You know, years ago, the teacher was always up for, you know, I'll go to the papers. What? You know, not that that ever happened to me, but I remember, like, it happened to a friend of mine.
And it shouldn't be a shift, it should be equal. And so many people have contacted me in their business to go, I feel like my hands are tied, that I'm not getting my voice heard. And there's people behind the page, like, you're behind your page. Like, you have thoughts and
humans.
Aye, humans.
So it just beggars belief how anybody thinks that it's okay to just shout their mouth off on social media.
Well, even, you know, I've seen, especially over this past year, the likes of bloggers and influencers get a serious slating in forums that I don't associate myself or go anywhere near them, because I'm not fit for that. But just, you know, the messages, because you know, and the kind of the mindset is, if you put yourself out there, you should be able to take it. Well, not really. Like, it doesn't warrant this negativity, abuse towards people that are just maybe trying to make a living.
It's just a job. It's just your job at the end of the day. I mean, if you think of, like, radio presenters or actors or whatever, they have a calling within them to do that, to entertain. It's not that they are like, oh, look at me, let me go, but there's something within you that kind of makes you want to kind of do this job. It's not. You're trying to, oh, look at me. You know, even if you think about it, if we talk about Stephen, he was the biggest introvert ever. You know, and he used to respond sometimes and go, look, I get up in the morning and go to work, and all I'm trying to do is make you laugh.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right in your day, that's all I'm trying to do. You know, not with really verbal.
Yeah. Just having, I think it's good just to set out there for the awareness of people. There is people and humans behind the Facebook page,
behind the screen. And the feelings and the families, and their someone's sister or mother or daughter or brother, you know. And I think we dehumanize each other sometimes behind this social media, and it's so easy to judge. And it says me, I'm not whiter than white or holier than thou that I don't. You know, I do. There's sometimes I can say, you know,
it's how you react to it.
That's it. And at the end of the day, I think that over this past year, because people are really, they're fascinated with what people are doing, and are they abiding by restrictions, or they're here or there, they're getting this or they're getting that, and the claws have come out.
I think
and that's the downside to social media, but there's plenty of ups too.
I think the Caroline Flack suicide last year was really a shift.
It was an eye-opener.
And this isn't okay to treat people.
Yes, that's it. However, the Be Kind movement is totally abused. People are saying, if people think they can just say, oh, just be kind, but then they're not being accountable for some of their actions, which is but it is a shift. I love the conversation of, if you can be anything in the world, be kind. Yes, but it's not just good enough saying be kind. Oh, be kind through action. Do kindness, and that is an actual quote that kind of bothers me as well, is people how they throw about be kind. You can be kind. It's more than words, and as I say, actions always speak louder than words. And like the likes of with Caroline Flack, unfortunately, it took her tragedy to wake the world up about how people in the public eye can be treated.
It's a terrible time. Well, thank you so much. We've covered a lot of ground today.
That was some good shit in it.
Definitely, but I feel as if I'm just talking to two friends here.
That's it.
And are you loving the live lounge?
We love it. We
Love it.
We just
love it.
we just really want to, like you said earlier about your platform, it's like, let's cut the shit. Let's really talk about,
crack it open,
and how do we accept each other and feel a bit better and feel like together instead of separate. Her life's better than mine, her life's better than mine. It's like, listen, we've all got connections, so
we'll help each other.
Well,
we'll get you back on again soon, hopefully.
Oh, I'd love that, definitely. And I really enjoyed this wee chat, and keep up the great work, girls.
All right, thanks. So bye.
Enjoy your day. Bye.